What started as a primitive flint blade in the 1400s has become today's assault rifles, machine guns, and artillery. Over the years, technology of war has entered our world in many ways. The U.S. military has adapted these new types of technology to create high-tech weapons and surveillance machines that have changed the name of the game throughout the world. The geography of war itself has changed with the advancements in technology by making war possible in more arenas and evident in everyday lives. Up until 1945, victory in war required obliterating the enemy. You found the enemy by foot or by plane, and then you shot them or dropped bombs on them. The use of technology then was to create more powerful weapons so you could kill from farther away and get to places that were once inaccessible. Then technology created the nuclear bomb in 1945, and there is still no effective defense against it. With the invention of the atomic bomb, the typical warfare of action and counteraction had been taken away. War between powerful countries became countries like Russia, Great Britain, France, and China became rare due to the nuclear threat of mutual annihilation, and the advancement of war technology became aimed at non-nuclear opponents. The emphasis for technological advances in war shifted to high-tech ways to search and destroy. However, such advanced weaponry is no guarantee for victory for the United States military. All we know for sure is that the U.S. has spent and continues to spend trillions of dollars on technological warfare. War has multiple impacts, both positive and negative, on the economy. The war in Iraq and Afghanistan, specifically, has shown to have had a larger negative impact than positive on the U.S. economy. Increased military spending on technology causes inflation and higher interest rates, which increases cost for average consumers to buy what they need. Excessive military spending in the Iraq War is projected to increase the U.S. deficit by more than $90 billion. Once the 6 year war rolled around, there were 44,200 less jobs in the manufacturing business, and it is estimated that 144,000 jobs in construction will be lost by the 10th year of war. It is crazy to think that there will be more drones and tanks being produced for foreign wars than housing being built in the United States. It is interesting to imagine how much more efficient our government spending could be if this money had not been directed into war but into domestic uses, such as education or addressing hunger. Technology has changed how wars are fought in different locations. In the early years of war, having the highest point on the battlefield was considered the ultimate advantage. Now there are more geographic features that pose a problem for both sides, such as mountains, deserts, oceans, and differences in weathers like sandstorms and extreme heat. The lack of changes in desert terrain necessitates the use of laser rangefinders to let troops know how far they are needed to aim their equipment. The advanced technology of GPS systems has made it so target visibility is not a problem for guided weapons in the severe sandstorms in Iraq. High winds and sandstorms are difficult to predict, but the technology that is available to the commanders allows the troops to have an advanced wearing of weather systems and be effective in combat. It is not only the desert that causes problems for our troops. There are wartime challenges in the ocean as well. Near the port of Qasr in Iraq, there are anti-ship mines on the seafloor, which can be lethal. The U.S. Navy has trained dolphins to use their natural sonar and taught them to detect different types of metals. Once the dolphins find buried mines, they carefully drop acoustic transponders nearby so divers can pinpoint their locations and destroy them. More than any other technological byproduct of war, weaponry is by far the highest. The U.S. has invested a lot of brainpower, money, and tons of resources, and with these important attributes, we are able to create powerful and effective weapons. Past wars could only be fought on the ground with horses, tanks, or feet. As wars have progressed, technology has opened additional battlefields on the ocean with ships, under the ocean with submarines, in the air with jets, and in space with guided missiles. Modern military technology keeps the arsenal changing constantly over the course of war. The military is a huge part of the U.S. economy, but its impact is a double-edged sword. It creates jobs and increases trade, but at the same time the growing national debt is a significant drain on the current and future generations. Money spent enabling the military to access remote regions is still no sure win against guerrilla warfare and terrorist tactics. The U.S. is bound by the Geneva Convention to fight fair or suffer legal consequences, which provides little defense against religious fanatics who will blow themselves up to advance their cause. The unconventional ways that terrorists fight often make the U.S. weaponry ineffective, forcing us to continue research and develop better weapons and defenses to withstand these attacks. This money could be used for attempting better ways of reaching the same conclusion. For example, global peace negotiations, nonviolent conflict resolution activities, and higher global cultural awareness. It looks like there is no end in sight for military spending, however. Even more technological advancements will be researched while trying to anticipate what our enemy will do next, creating continuing problems for the U.S. economy